Good evening, everybody. Hello. Good evening. Happy Thursday. Actually, let's double check the StreamYard hasn't screwed me over. No, it's actually working good. Hope everybody's having a good night tonight so far. And hope you're getting ready for the weekend. Hopefully, it's going to be fun for you. So, welcome, everybody. If you're new, my name's Sean, also Potentially Criminal, and I run Potentially Criminal. Tonight's a Thursday night stream, and we try to cover things that have been going on in the week and things I think they're interesting, not only criminal law related, but also things that just topics that are kind of funny and are legal related as well. So, hello to everybody out there on Rumble in the Ghetto, everybody here on YouTube, hello on Twitch, maybe the one of you on Facebook. I don't know which boomer that is, but hello. And then everybody, you guys are being a little ridiculous so far. But we do have a lot of topics tonight. I think it should be very fun. Also, guys, if you're new, we generally try to wait the first 10 minutes or so to let people filter in. Not only because YouTube isn't always the best at reminding people, but just, hey, sometimes it takes a little while. There have been a lot of interesting happenings in the past week, especially in the last 24 hours. I know some of you are aware of it, but the esteemed caterer turned mercenary. I mean, think of it like a big boss sold chicken nuggets. Yevgeny Prigozhin. Oh, how little we knew. Apparently had an oopsie doodle with his airplane flying over Russia, and it looks like, well, maybe it was a bomb, maybe it was the Russians shooting it down. Not really sure, but I'm sure he got the second part of the fucking around of finding out, but time will tell who actually did it. Before we get too far, though, there are a couple super chats I wanted to get to first. Unhung Hero for $2. Thank you. Says, I'm going to come. Don't come. Fair Frozen 55 for $10. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Says, the Prigo is dead. The Prigo is dead. Long burning fall and death. Yes, supposedly his plane was seen on camera plummeting. The Prigo is dead. The Prigo is dead. Was he shot down? Well, that's the Russian way. So the Prigo is dead. The Prigo is dead. He might be dead, but I think there is there were some stories that apparently somebody got on the plane. They thought, oh, it looks like it's being messed with a little bit or something was weird. Don't really know. Either way, yes, it was done and very likely at the hands of the Russian intelligence service or the Russian military in some way, shape, or form. So, I mean, place your bet to see what will happen from there. It certainly will be interesting going forward. And it'll be interesting what this holds for going on in Africa, because that is where Wagner mainly does its business. And for those of you interested also and need to check in over at everybody over in the local chat, over at Locals, which you guys are not aware of it, potentiallycriminal.locals.com. It is a site where we can go and you guys can join. It costs nothing to become a member. If you want to become a supporter, it is $3 a month. If you pay for 10 months, you get 2 months free. Also, if you'd like a 1 month free trial, you go and use the promo code criminal. When it gets to you have to use the monthly part. It should work. People have been able to use it since then. But just the code criminal, you'll have access to everything. You'll have access to all the chats, the live streams we have. We have a live stream every Monday, and we have a live stream every Thursday after this show where we get to hang out and talk and do a little more and just talk about things that YouTube won't allow you to talk about. And also it's a little more intimate of an environment. So a little more intimate. And we can just talk and hang out and have a fun time. Also, if you wish to support me, but you don't want YouTube to get their grubby mitts on money, Locals takes a far smaller chunk of the action than YouTube does. So that's another way to look at it if you'd like. Certainly, there are videos I post over there that are exclusive to Locals. I do post some comments on articles and videos that pop up. And I do things over there solely that are restricted to that side of the fence. So if you're interested, it's at potentiallycriminal.locals.com. So I will kind of leave that like so. And in the meantime, I do think that this was interesting. Actually, well, you know what? We got to get to the biggest thing here. Who was first? Who was first? Because that's always what matters. Over in the Rumble Ghetto, it's J-Man235 says, first in the Rumble Ghetto, hail Sean, hail the ghetto dwellers. And that's always critical. Over in locals chat, live chat, we have Lyndon Lady first. It's a very powerful way to make your statement. Let's see. Then we have I'd say probably the one people are always worried about. Let's check it out. Is here on YouTube. Who was first? Nick with first. Hey, what better way? And let's see who else is here so far. I probably muted. Not so luckily. Hero says, when I'm in Russia, take the train, not planes. Yes, that would have probably been a good idea. This is says, is there a mugshot of Trump? Yes, there is. Yes, there is. And we'll get to that. CNN had it, yeah, and I found it too. There are some of them out there that are bullshit. I have the real one, so don't worry, we'll get to that. You said you're disappointed in Truck's mugshot. I hope he'd be smiling. Well, we all can't get it. We all can't get what we want. Patty, that's right. Riggers with attitude. Oh, funny. You're a funny guy, Sully. That's why I'm going to kill you last. To quote the great Arnold. Oh, I forgot to pin this parallax. Sorry. Now it's pinned. Sniper, how you doing? Late and gay. Yeah, I know. Eris is like any moment now. Yep. Supposedly like the Ukrainian offensive, I finally arrived. I just wasn't 80 days late. Wombat Mommy says, hey, you have sound. Yes, I know. I'm very impressed with myself. Jim, how are you doing? Saying, I think there's a certain group of people really starting to try to cause a constitutional crisis and push the country in open conflict. Maybe. I mean, starting to look that way. Cody the Bum says, Sean, what's FEMA doing in Maui? I don't know. Maui is just, as far as things are going in Maui, the whole thing is a disaster, and it's sad because it sounds like the kids were sent home from school. So it sounds like there's a bunch of kids missing and likely dead. And then you hear the stories of people who one of the roads was blocked with a barricade and some sort of public official turning people around, which at the time they didn't know that was going to be life or death. But apparently some people said, screw it. And they survived, but everybody else didn't make it. I mean, there's a lot of horrible stories. And when you hear about these fires, there's a lot of stories like this. When you hear about like the Paradise Fire out in California, these things happen a lot. And that's a sad part about fires. And it's a horrible way to go. Salty Ball says nobody will ever miss him, just the Putin loathers coming out of the woodwork like they cared about the guy anyway. I think it's interesting because, the people who thought, it'd be better if he would have won. I don't think people realize, like, Prigozhin hated the Ukrainians more than, like, Putin. I don't think Putin really cares. Prigozhin really fucking hated Ukrainian people. Like, he wanted to kill them all. So it's actually better that he's no longer with us for the Ukrainian sake. This VR says, do we get access to my gun safe too? No, you don't. I had to move that. But yes, that is in here now. If you haven't noticed. Patty's saying, I bet the CIA did it. I don't see how they would have done it. The CIA, back in the 50s and 60s, they were really good at doing things, but since then they've kind of sucked. So I don't see them doing it. Let me see here. Artist Legacy for $2 saying, hail Sean, the Law Inquisitor, working your killdozer. Okay, so I've done some looking online. I think I found an acceptable bulldozer body model that I can use. And I know where I can get the polystyrene sheeting, which that's the easy part. Slab siding up the killdozer isn't the problem. It's finding an acceptable one. It may not be a Komatsu D355, but it will be a bulldozer model with a ripper on the back of it. I mean, because I'm not going to build something bigger than like maybe 132nd, because it's still going to be huge. But yes, this fall there will be some killdozering, and in October it looks like especially, and also probably, mainly in October there will be a lot of time to do stuff because kind of cleared out my schedule. We're going to try to do a lot more shows then. So, and before we go, I just wanted to show you guys this because I thought I had to do this. I had to deal with this issue working on an appeal. And I just thought it was very interesting to see that this was a comment made by a party. And I'm sure you will too. This is the state of the prosecution in America in some places. Yes, you're reading that right. Obviously, the prosecutor is prosecutor and the defense is the defense attorney. This is during a sidebar. This is a sidebar. The jury has already left the room, and they're discussing an issue. Notice the prosecution's claim that they don't have the right to say I didn't do it. It was somebody else, without showing evidence. And the defense attorney says, no, that's actually our right. And the prosecutor apparently disagrees. And guess who was wrong? We don't have any, and it's true. The defense has no obligation to present any evidence. And to be fair, testimonial statements are evidence. Now, supporting evidence, there's no obligation to do that. I didn't do it. It wasn't me. It's fair enough. But it's just something to think about. I read it, and it was very infuriating to see that, and sad that you would see that in 2023 in Ohio on a case. Just in the United States of America, I mean, that's kind of fucked up. I will tell you, this guy handled it a lot better than I would have. Because my response would have been, I'm sorry, the Constitution still applies. But yes, they handled it a lot better than I would have. But just something to think about. Just something to think about. Don't trust the state, kids. Don't trust the state. Before we start, I guess we'll talk about the Fair Frozen 55 says this is clearly some non-fiat PMC group clearing out the competition. Yes, as general counsel for Gold Corp. I don't know if they've accepted me as that, but yes. Yes, Gold Corp is the world's leading non-fiat private military corporation. If you have trouble in the world, consult Gold Corp and they'll help you today. And we'll get to what Trump just did, guys. We'll get to that. So we'll start off with Trump. Okay, so he was booked today, and by booking means he was brought in, he was fingerprinted, and his picture was taken as a mugshot, and then he was released. That's very typical for non-violent criminals. They're booked and then released. It's very common for it to happen at arraignments. Very common to my clients. If they haven't been booked already for the charges, like if they initially got arrested on a charge and then released, then they don't have to get rebooked. So it's very, very simple. Very, very simple. And yes, there is a mugshot of Trump, and we are going to show that. So, and you know what? I guess, fuck it. We'll do it. We'll do it the way that makes sense for everybody here. If you guys are reading this right, yes, Donald J. Trump, real Donald Trump. Yes, Trump is back on Twitter now, folks. He's back. The emperor has returned. It says go to donaldjtrump.com. And yes, this is his mugshot. And yes, he looks as thrilled as you think he would be. So there's to that. So he was booked on the charges that have been placed against him in Fulton County, Georgia. The prosecution of it, I think, is going to be a bit of an issue. I still think so. I still think there's a lot of problems regarding the actions that were done. I think that Mark Meadows' removal motion is going to be valid. It's going to be granted. Even if it's not granted, the 11th Circuit probably will grant it. I wasn't sure about Robert Barnes' interpretation, but I'll defer to him that everybody moves to federal court with him. Because that'd be interesting if they did. That would probably help a lot of them. But we shall see. We shall see. I'm sure if it comes to federal court, Jack Smith is just going to, catch himself masturbating at the idea to get another case built up. But then he's probably going to look at it and say, oh my God, this is from a shitty district attorney's office. But we will see where that road goes. In the meantime, Fani Willis has stated she wants to start trying everybody by October 26th, which I think is borderline insane. How the hell are they going to get through all the discovery and all the witnesses, everything you may need in 2 months? They can't. Even if they could, the idea that these trials will proceed along anywhere, the Young Thug Rico trial I keep referring to, and I brought it up on, I brought it up with the guys at Future Conflict. I think I mentioned this once also over on Eric Hunley's show, which I know will be on Future Conflicts at 9 a.m. tomorrow. And then I don't know if Eric Hunley's going to have a show tomorrow or not. But Young Thug is 6 months in and they're still doing jury selection. They're not done. That trial has been a disaster. It hasn't even started yet. This isn't going to be any better at all in any way, shape, or form. Even if Trump were to keep his mouth shut, this is just going to be one long slow motion crash, regardless of how this shakes loose. So, coming over from Kurt. Awesome. Well, thank you guys. Thank you, Kurt, for saying hello. I appreciate it. So we will see where this leads. I don't know where ultimately the road goes here. I still think it goes through federal court, but we will find out going forward. Now, I will say with the article I was going to use in talking about it, it just gives some brief information in case you guys didn't know. Yes, he's the first president in history to have his mugshot taken. Oh no! So he was booked. It took him about 20 minutes. That's actually kind of a fast amount of time. Usually, my clients, well, you and me, regular people, it would take us probably a little bit of like an hour or some time to get done. Now, granted, they hurried him in, they hurried him out because Trump is a security liability. He's got to have a Secret Service detail. So, he's got armed federal agents that go around with him everywhere he goes. It's quick, easy, get him out, get rid of all the nonsense. So they did that. They, it was interesting because the Marshal Service, when they didn't shoot his picture, this was interesting. And I didn't see it at the time, but I saw it later and I thought it was interesting. Ample imagery of him in the public domain, why a mugshot wasn't needed. In Fulton County, though, the officials said they suggest they would stick to their normal practice, and probably it is a normal practice to take mugshots of their defendants. Although, unlike Trump, how many of their defendants have been sitting in jail for years and years on end without a speedy trial given to them? I love how Fani Willis is willing to burn down the world. Hey, we'll do this in October. You got dudes that's sitting in jail for years on end. What about them, Fani? I guess they don't count. Why? Well, I'll let her answer that question, but I think we all know why they aren't being tried quickly. So, it remains to be seen how Trump might capitalize off this historic photo. Oh, gee, I don't know. Maybe things like this, or just flags. I don't know. I could see a million ways he's going to do this. 100%. Then there are people like Jenna Ellis, who is involved in things. Her mugshot is her profile picture on Twitter. Absolutely hilarious. So we'll see what happens here. But yes, I think Trump's going to sell more stuff than anybody else. And if he's smart, which he is in this regard, I could see him doing like a Brian Bosworth thing where, make fun of Trump, and it's him selling the crap to make fun of himself, which would be truly hilarious. So that happened there. Alpha Fox, though, is saying here, let's take a look. Talking about this real quick, is saying Cenk and Anna over at the Young Turks acting like tards because he's using a bail bondsman only paying 10%. Cenk, remember, was an attorney. Yeah, well, I get it. Well, I mean, Trump's got 200K he could scratch out for. I don't know why he didn't just use his own money. That'd be even funnier because he gets it all back at the end. So, probably like saying 6 months of jury selection. Yeah, 100%. The Young Thug case, it's the one we've talked about before. It's an absolute disaster. Porcelain Thunder says, if anybody knows Rico, it's Giuliani. Yes, but I talked about this last week, and I mentioned this to the Future Conflicts guys. Rico in Georgia is a very weird thing that it's not an elaborate setup. 3 people commit a crime together, boom, it's Rico. They have a very weird way of doing Rico down there compared to the federal world and the other states. Toto Vader saying, why isn't Trump filed? Well, if Meadows is granted, then Trump gets to go along with him. So that part's answered itself. And that kind of takes an issue there. Zero Fuck says, I would have smiled. Yeah, I get that. But I always look at it this way. You don't want to tempt the fates. I don't think it's a good idea to tempt the fates. Even if you think your cause is just and the world's on your side, it's not worth tempting the fates. Read some Greek tragedies. They will fuck with you just for the lulz. So MJ saying, Young Thug still hasn't went to trial. Nope. D Marie says, did they catch the drug deal in the courtroom? 100%. They did. 100% they did. Toto Vader saying, okay, this is interesting. Apparently using a bond to make the process go faster. Maybe. I mean, yes, because otherwise you have to take your money and you have to pay it through the clerk and then they have to process it. And I'm sure that they would slow roll that and it would take a while. So yeah, maybe they could have already had it set up. Randy says, don't I have a mugshot? No, when I've been arrested for my crimes, I was never mugshot, but so. Do you want one drawn? Sure. If you feel interested, I would have certainly not turned it down. Dewey666 says the Dixie Mafia rules. Charlie 18 saying, what drug deal in the courtroom? So there's a rapper named Young Thug. He's on trial for a RICO charge with him and his little rap buddies, and they're apparently part of a gang. And during one of the hearings in the courtroom, it was Young Thug or one of the other his buddies, like legit did a drug deal in the middle of the courtroom. Like it got caught on camera. That's how bad this trial's going. So it 100% happened. Like I'm not joking. I wish I was joking, but that 100% happened. Yep, I'm not Obama. Yeah, handed him a perk. Yep. Mm-hmm. So. Yeah, it was a perk. Yeah. Yeah, no, I you didn't have to capitalize. I know it's a perk. But yes, there was an actual drug deal that went down. Oh, let's see here. What are you? So that's the interesting part about Trump's case here. What has happened? So we are moving on to what's actually going on in his case in DC. The January 6th case, the case of democracy being under threat. So Trump has asked to set a trial calendar, and the U.S. government responded differently. They think that a 2026 trial date would deny the public its right to a speedy trial, which they are invoking through the Speedy Trial Act, which concerns not only the defendant, but also the state and the public. Remember, though, it's still subservient to the Sixth Amendment. So they talk about here Trump citing inopposite statistics and cases. Yep, there's a lot of things he's citing. He's citing the cases. He overstates the amount of new and non-duplicative discovery. Well, is he really? And he exaggerates the challenge of reviewing it effectively. I mean, he's got to read it. He's got to read all of it. This isn't a civil trial where you can just read little bits of it. So they talk about it here. The defendant cites the median time from commencement to the trials of Section 371 charges, which are conspiracy, is 29.4 months. Apparently, they're claiming that this means the completion of sentencing, not the beginning of trial. Maybe. I don't know. I don't trust the feds on that one, so we shall see. And they cite this. I have not a chance to read it yet, but still, the feds say it. I'm not inclined to believe them. So, the interesting part here, and this is the part that some of law Twitter, this part here, that on law Twitter, the brilliant minds there said, well, you could just use review software and they can look for things. Yeah, that sounds like a great idea. Sounds like a great idea. I mean, for the things that probably aren't classified confidential, and then you just want to make sure there's no handwritten notes on it or anything like that. Well, the government gave a smaller second discovery production. So the first one was bigger than this, and this 615,000 pages. How much bigger was the first one? It's only 615,000 pages. They talk about here the first one, and this is the funny part. They talk about this. Well, the first part was 3 million pages. 25% of the first production come from Trump himself. So they want to do, at this point now, they're talking about, and we don't know for sure how many pages they've got, but now we're at 3.6 million pages. 25% of these come from him. So that means it's 12 million pages out there. Does he know all the documents out there? Does he know what documents were seized, what specifically was taken from him? No, he has no idea. You know what he's going to have to do? He's going to have to compare all those documents. Why? Because the government tends to fuck around with things. How do you know they weren't doctored? How do you know they weren't modified in any way, shape, or form to the originals you have? Well, you're going to have to pick one up and go, okay. Oh, check these, check these, check these. You can't just have a computer run through it. Besides, what are you going to do? Type in the search engine, find anything that's exculpatory. Boom. Find where the government's telling inaccuracies. Boom. No, you can't. You have to search every goddamn thing. This isn't a bullshit civil case. This is a criminal case. You have to check everything. If you don't, it's malpractice. And they claim 200,000 of these were from an entity associated with the defendant. He's still got to check them all. But listen to the arrogance of the government. Listen to the arrogance of the government. You don't have to check these. You've already read them. And then they point out that some of these things are publicly available, including his tweets, his social posts, and his campaign statements, and the court papers involving challenges to the election filed by other parties. Okay, cool. He's going to have to look through all of them still, because has he done everything? Has he looked at all those? No. Do his attorneys know every single page in there? No. It's not like we're talking about like a 2-page binder where everybody already knows what's in it. They don't know anything that's in there. Nearly 1 million pages came from the House Select Committee for January 6th. Okay. Who the fuck has read all 1 million pages? Including the hundreds of transcripts and interviews and depositions. Who the fuck's read all those? Who has? Who's read all those? And also these, redacted. No, I fuck that. I want unredacted ones. I mean, if we're claiming this is all Trump's master conspiracy, he should get unredacted transcripts. And if he gets the unredacted ones, well, that's a massive change in the context available. Everything. They claim that, for example, they obtained a record and show it to a witness during an interview. That would appear twice in Discovery. I hope so. And then they can take that document and then compare it to the document they have to make sure all three match. There's a reason why that's going to have to happen. My job as a defense attorney is not to trust the government. I mean, really, otherwise he'd walk into my office. Hey, bro. Hey, it looks like he says you've been indicted. I guess you're fucked. You better plead guilty. I mean, the government doesn't lie. Or the government gives me a pile of discovery. And I got a murder trial. I got a murder case. Court gives me a stack. The prosecution gives me a stack of papers. Like, yeah, you know what? I trust you. It's all there. No, I don't do that. I read through every fucking page. Then I go to my client, read all these pages for me. Does any of this seem out of line to you? Does anything seem weird that you can recognize? Because they know the story better than I do usually because they're involved in it in some way. All these witness statements, do they make sense? All these detective accounts, do they make sense? Look at all these pictures. Does the layout of everything that happened here make sense to you? Is anything messed with? I don't just go, it's probably all good. No. So once again, fuck the state. Fuck the state. Fuck the state. I mean, no. No. Yes, ChatGPT will read it all. Yeah. No. Ken's counseling couch says he read them all because the January 6th committee are heroes. Oh, yes. True heroes, one and all. Carrie says use a trapper keeper. I remember when those were cool. That takes me back. Two Scoops of the Story says entities associated with Trump, are they including Trader Weiss in that? Who knows what it's not clear what they're saying because we haven't seen the discovery. So we don't know. Sorry, I had a little too much celebration with President Zelensky earlier today for Ukrainian Independence Day. I'm just upset Law Twitter showed me up the first production was 11 million items. Oh, yeah, it sucks to be embarrassed by Law Twitter, including one of the people on Law Twitter who got punked by Kiwi Farms. That's always good news. So, Mr. K saying, is he just made all 11 million pages public and left it to the internet to dredge up the dirt? What kind of disciplinary action could he face? Well, he could be, certainly Jack Smith would probably try like obstruction of justice, interfering with investigations, interfering with the court process. He'd probably have his bond revoked or try to get it revoked. If some of those documents were confidential or classified, for leaking them without proper clearance. Any number of things. Probably accuse him of some terrorism and conspiracy and just being a really bad guy. So remember, you guys don't have to like Trump or support him, but you have to realize, wow, this is really kind of getting into the fucked up territory. And remember, if they'll do it to him, they will 100% do it to you. And do it with a smile on their face and without blinking. So let's see, there's some other super chats here. Mandy for $2 is saying, thank you, Mandy. Is saying, has been a horrible month, Sean. Take care. Mandy, I hope you're well. I hope everything is okay for you and your family. Thank you. Unhung Hero for $2 saying Trump just tweeted his mugshot. Yes. And Ginger, yeah, I thought this was funny. Yes, Trump's reaction is when your mom tells you to clean your room. Yeah, I think that's pretty good also. And then Josh Peckhole for $1.99, thank you, saying, I love you, man. Maybe it's like the beer commercials. I love you, man. J-Man over on Rumble saying use Claude AI or Cloud AI. Yeah, that would be horrible. Now, yes, in civil cases, you would use AI. You would use document programs to look for things, but you don't do that here. Oh, they're saying he's on Newsmax right now. Interesting. Yeah, that's a shame. What do you mean we're? If you take a trapper keeper to court and you've got I don't know what to tell you. Yes, Ashley's like, wait, they're not cool anymore. I'm not Obama says, I'm too young. I only know trapper keepers from South Park. You missed out. Although to be fair, I was kind of on the end of that because I only got those when I started, like 4th, 5th, 6th grade. But trapper keepers, those were something or another. They actually made organizing and folders hip and cool, and kids wanted to do it. It's weird. It's like a weird fucking psyop. They got kids interested in like trying to be Danny Tanner almost from Full House, like organizing everything. So where do you guys hold on here? Oh, he's talking to Greg Kelly on the phone. RBMKA56. Do I dye my mustache? No, I do not. That's it's just like here on the edges. I'm like here on the edges. It's just that's the last bit to go. And I'm starting to get a lot of gray in there. So not yet, no, but give it some time. I don't know. Probably by this time next year it'll be all gray or grayish. David said I had the Lambo Trapper Keeper. Be jealous. I had the one with the fighter plane on it. That was pretty cool. So Unknown Hero for $5 says, thank you. It's saying, are we sure Mitt Romney didn't have Trapper Keepers full of women? Oh no, that's funny. Oh, and over in the Rumble ghetto, Joe K84. Is there a way I can show this? Let's see here. Oh, share screen. Yeah, there we go. Oh, I can show it. Okay. Joe K84 is saying, hey, Sean, have some shekels straight from the Rumble ghetto. Thank you. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Your Rumble rant, I think is what they're technically called, but thank you. I appreciate it very, very much. All right, guys, now we're moving on. Let's get to the other stuff that's out there. America's sweetheart, Sarah Boone. You know her. You love her. You won't pack a suitcase with her. Well, there's been movement in her case, and it's been very interesting what's happened. Well, and I guess we'll start it off by saying if you were hoping for another letter, that's not what you're getting. But we're going to read along with it. I did have to read it to figure out what it was at first, but it's got some interesting things in it. A little bit of passive aggressiveness. So here we go. A motion to withdraw as counsel. And this was filed on the 22nd. And it's in the 9th Judicial Circuit down for Orange County. This is how you have to do it. I've filed a withdrawal from cases before myself. It's captioned up. And it's a motion to withdraw as counsel. And you have to do this. You can't just disappear. So now it says, now it comes Frank J. Bankowitz, Esquire, counsel for the and above style case, and hereby request this court enter an order permitting appointed counsel withdraw from this case and for further representation of the defendant. That's pretty standard. In support of the motion, the court's undersigned states as follows. Now, the undersigned is Fred Bankwitz. So he talks about what happened in this case. That on or about July 11th, he was appointed to represent Sarah due to irreconcilable differences. And that's one of the common things, irreconcilable differences. Sometimes you can't agree with your client and you need to withdraw. Sometimes your client wants you to do something that's illegal. You need to withdraw. They want you to do something unethical. You need to withdraw. Sometimes your client is just unreasonable and won't listen to anything. You might need to withdraw. You can also sometimes break down the attorney-client relationship. There are things, those are typically the two big ways. You can also claim there's a big conflict of interest. There wouldn't be one here, but sometimes that happens. In fact, that's why the public defender had to withdraw initially, as they had represented the victim, her boyfriend. And he says that he will be unable to effectively and properly continue representing her. He's just saying, look, I can't help her. Now, this is where I think this attorney's starting to get in a little bit like, are you sure you really want to say this? Because this leaves me to make some questions. He's saying she will not be satisfied with any attorney unless that attorney does not have a caseload and can dedicate his or her time solely to Miss Boone's case. I don't think that's a proper way of phrasing it. I think that's a little unprofessional. You could maybe state that her expectations of an attorney that's representing her are not, are demanding. And far demanding than, are demanding in her demands, far exceed your ability to satisfy them. Something like that. But this here's a bit of a bitchy point. I don't think that's right. I don't think he should have said it like this. And then he says the undersigned has been in murder trials over the past 60 days. Okay, well, what about the 60 days before that? I mean, that's the problem here. You're saying, well, the past 2 months I've been busy. What about before that? I understand you've been busy. Well, this could be worded better, Frank. And is presently defending a capital murder case in Lake County, Florida, which I assuming it's on Lake Okeechobee. I don't know. Which absorbs all of his time, including weekends. Now, this, I think, is a bit of a problem for his attorney. Because if it truly is taking up all the time, there's a bigger issue here. There's a bigger issue for Frank Bankwitz. As an attorney, part of your job is to not accept cases you can't take. It's one of the rules of responsibility, professional responsibility. If you have too much going on, you shouldn't take cases you cannot adequately and competently handle that client. So you don't take 5,000 cases at once. If it's becoming too much, and it sounds like this guy does a lot of court-appointed work in serious murder cases, you should be like, look, I can't handle this one on top of everything else. It sounds like he's accepted a ton more things than he has time for. But I mean, this is a bit much, though. I'm just saying, I don't think this is, maybe you meant to word it a different way, but just reading this alone, this doesn't help you. It doesn't make you look good, to me at least. And then here, part 5, the best possible avenue is to have the defendant represent herself, as no attorney can represent her, can satisfy her. All innuendo jokes aside, this is not an appropriate comment. You should not be saying this. I get it, Fred. You're upset with her. Frank, you're upset with her. But your motion withdrawal is not a time for a tampon attack. Can't be going and just lashing out. No. You're the attorney. You have to be the adult. You got to be a man. Or, if your tampon's sliding out, shove it back in. Or if you need to, fluff up a new one and put it in. You can't just sit there and menstruate on a page and squeal like an emotional woman. You have to say, this is entirely unnecessary. Entirely unnecessary. And if I was a judge, I'd probably admonish him for this. Especially because this is public. Everybody gets to see it now. This is not proper. In any way, I think this is proper at all. I mean, that's low rent, Frank. That's low rent. The rest of this, I mean, yeah, you're having trouble and you don't have enough, you have too much going on. Cool. Good. Adios, hit the trails. But this shit right here, no. And then this here. No, I mean, this is borderline. But this is completely uncalled for. You know, if one of your clients gets you having soggy tampons like this, Frank, come on, man. Come on now. So this is then you just ask the court, allow him to withdraw. It has not been set yet. She does have a hearing September 8th, it looks like. And they're going to figure out what's going to happen. And if we get a new attorney, guess what? It starts all over again. And Sarah's going to start her letter writing clock all over again. So it'll be very interesting. So that is where we are with Sarah Boone. Chaucerian fraud, yes, I think that's a way the judge should say that. Write this in your diary, not in the court documents. That's actually that's a good one. It's for your diary, not the court case. Charlie 18 says, I don't think any man could satisfy her considering her past. Porcelain Thunder says, yes, the 6th attorney. Yes, fuck that bitch. Yes. D. Marie says, is this because she sent a letter to the judge about him? I don't think so. I think this is really an issue of not necessarily client control, but I think this guy really has too much going on. He has too many irons in the fire. And he just can't keep up, which, okay, cool. If you can't hack it, bro, get out. Nobody's going to get mad at you. Like, I've had to withdraw from cases before because things got crazy. The client got crazy. Client doesn't like how I'm handling it. Okay, fine. I got to go. Happens. Sometimes your client fires you. Sometimes your client fires you and hires another attorney. I've had that happen before. You know, okay, cool. I'm out. Pull your handles, eject. The judge lets you go and you go for it. But to do all this, this is just, I think that was utter shit for Bankowitz to do this. Now, I'm sure Sarah Boone is an awful, awful client to have. I am sure she is whiny, needy, demanding. And I have clients like that. They call you, you know, and your phone, you're sitting there and like you're in court and you know, your phone's sitting in your vest pocket. And every once in a while I've had this happen where like my phone sits in my jacket pocket and I have like a business card holder. It's a little metal case. So guess what happens if you keep buzzing me? You keep ringing me. You call. Oh, went to voicemail and resend. You keep doing that. I've had clients do that from the jail. That's how they're used to getting a hold of people when somebody's not listening to them. And it's like, I'm in court. But that happens. I'm sure she does that kind of nonsense too. I will say, just as an FYI, guys, if you have an attorney, leave them a message. Don't call them 55 fucking times. Just leave the message once and they'll get back to you. Doing that shit makes them want to ignore you for a little while and then get back to you. But also, it causes problems when they're trying to get a phone call out and you just keep calling, or you blow up their voicemail inbox. And as soon as it says, hi, you've reached a voicemail of Sean Martin, you hang up. Well, now I got a voicemail that took up space and nobody else can get through. And it sucks if I'm in the middle of a hearing. I can't just stop and play on my phone. So that's a free tip, though, when you're dealing with an attorney. That's a shame, says, get a fucking intern, bro. Yeah. Or limit your caseload. That's an ethical obligation. If you can't satisfy your clients, then don't take them all on. Justin's saying she doesn't deserve a lawyer. Yeah, it's almost what he's saying. Winter Soldier says, I'm going to Florida and taking in the Boone case. Charlie's saying he knows it's an unwinnable case. Pretty much it's unwinnable anyway, but you don't have the right to go out and do this. This is prejudicial to your client. And even if you hate your client, and if you hate them, they're fucking annoying, they treat you like shit, you don't do this. That's not how this works. You know what you do? Client's annoying, treats you like shit, you get out. Okay, cool. Client sitting there screaming at you and telling you off over the phone, or they tell you off in person. Okay, well, you know, I will file my motion. Good luck to you. That's how you do it. You don't come out here and act like a little fucking bitch in your motion to the court in front of the whole fucking world. Now, if you want to go in chambers, you know, when you have your hearing and the judge says, hey, counsel, I'll take you into chambers if you want to discuss what's going on along with the prosecution. You want to say, look, here's what's going on, but I didn't want to detail it in the motion because it's unprofessional and unethical. Okay, fine. But you don't do it like he did. Toto Vader says her case isn't that complicated. Not sure why she would need daily communications. Sometimes people think they need daily communications. Here's the thing, though. Has she really been asking for daily communications? We don't really know. This guy's spurging out, so it's hard to take him at face value, and it's hard to take Sarah Boone at face value. So who's telling the truth? I don't know. Luke also says this also somewhat implicitly confirms she's been at least somewhat accurate in regards to her communication. Yeah. Kimbo Nice says you can cut the sexual tension with a knife. Yes, they just need to bone. That's a shame. Says yes, and you get 30. You know, you know what this is like. Step out of a hearing, 37 missed calls, and you were only out of touch for 45 minutes. Cargo pilot guy, I saw your question. I will we'll answer that in a little bit. Alpha Fox says, how many clients can you satisfy at once, Mr. Sean? I tell you what, as long as your mom's not in the picture, taking up all my time, quite a few. What can I say? Your mom's a demanding woman. Don Kratzer says, hey, all. Hello. Chadwick Meyer says, this is a Florida case. Has Ghazi done his yearly pro bono work yet? He works in doing appeals right now, so no, he can't get involved. And I'm sure that even though he's from a different county, there would probably still be a conflict because I think it's done at the state, like he works for a state agency, so I still think that'd be a conflict. Chessarian Fraud says, have you ever had to tell a client to stop blowing up your phone? Yes, I have. And I understand for some people, this is all they know as far as getting a hold of people. You just keep calling, they keep calling. And they don't, that's how they handle their problems. And I said, look, I'm in court. I can't always answer your phone. And sometimes you talk to them about it and they're like, oh my God, I didn't think about that. I'm sorry. And they don't do it anymore. Some of them just keep fucking doing it. And you just have to deal with it. Some people don't learn, some people don't care. Luke says, get Peter Tragos to do it. You need to talk to Peter about that. I'm sure the lawyer you know would love the PR for that. Jim is saying these people have a name, Sean. They're called crazy bitches. Well, they're not all just bitches. Some of them are dudes. So unless, you know, that is that with Sarah. So we'll see what happens with her. Now, moving on. Remember I told you guys, these things are tattle machines. Well, it's not only these things, but it's the apps on them. And it's the apps you use on a daily basis that can tattle on you. And a guy in North Carolina is finding that out. If you guys remember, this was an issue on Twitter a while ago. And it was this involving the guy on a bicycle who when he did this, it was just such a manly act. He comes riding by and he kicks him. Yeah. Oh, no. Oh, take that, Drumpf. Oh, oh. Look at him. It's so hard. Oh, oh, yeah, I kicked it. I showed him. Oh, his road bike, he almost got stuck in the grass. You can see he almost tipped over. And we can see now that he comes back later. He comes back 4:19 in the morning, a couple days later. And no, he's not naked, but he's dressed in his gayest of bike riding outfits. Because remember, as Jeremy Clarkson said, cyclists are untrustworthy. He comes up and he's got a grill clicker, which, I mean, really, like, come on, bro. Like, you're going to try to commit arson and you bring your grill clicker. You didn't get like a lighter. Come on now. And you can also see here, he's got a tattoo. And it looks like a Mickey Mouse tattoo. I mean, bro, you're a grown-ass man. You have a Mickey Mouse tattoo on. Dude, come on. Next, you're going to tell me you have, like, all the Reddit karma in the world. He probably does. The next, you're going to tell me you probably trade CP with Vosh. Which he might. But here we go. Yes. The brave patriot. He's so worried about America, he moves the flag out of the way. And then the flag falls back down. Clicky, click, 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 click. He lights the sign on fire and he runs off. And the sign caught fire. Well, people were trying to figure out what was going on. So, and this is interesting because it comes from cycling, Canadian cycling. They figured it out because he used a cycling app. And they figured out who it was. So, Strava is a cycling app, and you can track just like all the apps that are out there, all the things that are out there. People could track your routes. So people started searching in that area, and they found a guy who's run by it a couple of times. And, well, that was the brilliance of this. There was GPS data that was used, and they found out James J. White, a registered Democrat, logged 3 cycling sessions on his profile, and they occurred on the 12th, the 15th, and the 18th, coinciding with the dates the vandalizing of the Trump sign was captured on video. And the GPS data shows he traversed the vicinity where the arson took place. So that's an issue there. But we also find out that this guy, when you look him up, well, there's pictures of him. Yes, he has since made his account private. You can't track him anymore, but it's just you don't know what more to say about this guy. And I will point out that it was people figured it out. They had actually tracked his things here, and they bring him up, and it's just beautiful what they've done. And they tracked his times, and when he did it, they went to the next one. They found his other one, Jim White. He ran a similar route. And then they found it again. He ran a similar route. And they then figured out it was this guy here. He kept an image on there. And yes, his helmet matches, but also this little gay Disney tattoo. Remember, bro, you are a dude. You're a grown-ass man. You got a Disney tattoo. Come on now. But remember, guys, if you're going to commit crimes, sanitize yourself. And you laugh at Antifa all you want, but wearing a mask does wonders. Wearing sunglasses does wonders for facial recognition. If you have tattoos, it's probably a good idea to cover them up. Even if you have the broiest bro tribal band from the 90s and early 2000s, cover it up. If you've got some gay little Disney tattoo, cover it up. You're making it way too easy. And also make sure you don't have apps on your phone, your iPhone, your iWatch, whatever it is you've got going on. Remember, this all, yes, it sounds like great things, but open source intelligence, number one, but the government, it's all a tattle machine. So, this VR says his friend posted that pic. Yeah, well, that's a thing. Porcelain Thunder says, that's too clean to be an old tattoo. Probably got it when he and his husband honeymooned at Disney. His hubby got a matching one. Maybe they did. Bald Eagle says, incoming Le Redditor face. Yes. Aaron Gogol says, stories like this where I believe in civilian ownership of landmines. Well, yeah, or, in certain cases you can get... Oh. Get civilian ownership of anti-tank mines like the TM62. No, it's not a real one, but it's a replica. Comes with the carrying handle. Pretty neat. So, yes, Chaucer's right. He spends all his time cycling and he can't break the sign. What a tough guy. Yes. I'm sure he thinks he's part of the resistance, and I'm surprised he doesn't have a Star Wars resistance tattoo going on there. Toothless has got a fake tattoo even. Well, I can't recommend that, but that might not be a bad idea. Jim is saying it should have been charged with arson. It was only misdemeanor damage property. Yeah, but I get it. I could see here in Ohio, it could be criminal mischief and criminal damaging as well instead of arson. So, yeah, but he's lucky. He could have been probably charged with arson. That would have been really hilarious. Yes, Eric Fulm's right. He was a heckin' patriot, Deuterino. Yes, he's brave. He's fighting fascism, and Trump is a bad man, and the MAGA chuds. I'm sure that's how he talks. Meat Candy says Sean looked unhappy that it wasn't real. You're damn right. I wish it was real. My front yard would be full of those right now. Everyone send a real. It's a TM, not a TP62 mines. Yes. Well, like I said, hello, ATF man. Well, if they're out in the front yard, they would be for the ATF man. That a police Bearcat is heavy enough to set those off. If you guys have been following along in the Ukraine thing, especially what was going on the southern front, you know what those landmines will do? So that is just a point of, just remember, guys, everything is out there. Everything is a tattle machine. Everything will tattle on you. Just be smart. Just be smart. In the meantime, SpaceX, yes, the fearless leader Elon Musk, SpaceX is being sued. And it's interesting what he's claiming happened or what's going on. And SpaceX is being sued for discriminatory hiring practices against asylum seekers and refugees. Now, it's interesting because I hadn't heard of this before. But Elon he said this before in press conferences when people said, well, why didn't you hire people with immigration, don't have the right, only certain immigration situations. And he has made a claim before that SpaceX claimed that under federal law, export control laws, because SpaceX does do things that are restricted by governmental work. The rocketry and some of the things they do are restricted government, are governed by the export control laws. They're governed by things that require security clearances done. You're dealing with things that will be hulling US military equipment, U.S. government's equipment, satellites, and the military aspects of it. There are requirements to those things. And he said he could only hire U.S. citizens and permanent lawful residents, sometimes referred as green card holders. But the DOJ is claiming those laws impose no such hiring restrictions. And they also point out that, yes, anybody seeking asylum or refugees' permission to live and work in the United States never expires, and they stand on equal footing with U.S. citizens and lawful residents under those laws. So they can hire them for those same purposes. But apparently he has claimed that they can't. Now, once again, it's the DOJ, but we'll see where this goes. Maybe they're boned on that because, that's not good. If they did this and they broke employment law and the government could prove it. Oof. So they claim that SpaceX failed to consider asylees and refugees because of their citizenship status, which under federal law, you cannot do that because you get to ideas of their alienage and national origin, which is not an acceptable grounds of discrimination. In fact, that's an illegal ground for discrimination under federal law. Now, you may not like that and think you should be allowed to hire and fire who you please, but that's not how the federal government doesn't handle things. Now, they claim that they're now this is the interesting part here because if this is true, this really might burn them. And they claim that SpaceX hires for a variety of positions, including welders, cooks, crane operators, baristas, and dishwashers, as well as IT specialists, business engineers, software analysts, the rocket engineers, and marketing professionals. And if he really is, and they've done it that way where they don't ever hire anybody, even for a guy mopping the floors, yeah, they're probably actually going to have a rough time there. Like I said, I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying that's in accordance with the law. So now the rest of this, if you want to read it, the DOJ is talking about it. They do provide some information, though, that if you were granted asylum or you're a refugee, you actually have special status compared to other people, and you're considered on footing with other people because you've been wrongfully displaced. And there is an entire special setup for that. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with them, but it'll be something to cover going forward. Keep your eye on it. Unhung Hero for $2 saying, Sarah wants to pack her bags and get out of jail. I bet she does. Mandy for $2. Thank you, Mandy, saying, sent you a Discord DM, enjoy the drawing. I'm not sure I want to look. Oh, well, that's actually better than I thought it was going to be. I guess not too bad. I think it's okay. There is my mugshot, apparently, according to Mandy. The angle's right, which I still think there's a weird angle for the whole Trump mugshot because it looks like it's taken at a downward angle when normally you're supposed to take it like head on. I don't know how they do things in the South, but that's how they do them down in hot Atlanta. Thank you, Mandy. Thank you. And Unhung here for $2 says SpaceX doesn't hire illegals. Good. Well, it's not just illegals. If you are an asylum seeker or a refugee, you're considered a valid person for employment, and you have to be treated as one. That's the way the Immigration and Naturalization Act works. So that's, like I said, you guys can disagree with federal law, but is what it is. Yes, they don't just, they don't like us. They're giving them problems. I agree. Like, oh my God, Elon didn't let us use Starlink in Ukraine. Oh no. It was the government was running it. The DOD bought those sets. I'm sure that they're not just going after us because they want to. They certainly would never do that. Yes, and the amateur iconoclast is right. The Democrats say you must hire non-Americans. Also, Democrats, how did the Chinese modernize their ICBMs? Yeah, it's very interesting how that happened after the Clinton administration. The Chinese caught up on 20 years of ICBM research. Mr. Case is too high up in the frame. Thanks. Chester Fraud says, would they not have to prove that he refused to hire them rather than they never applied? I'm sure there are people who wanted to apply, but also more importantly, if you are making public statements saying we will not hire X, Y, and Z, well, you're actively presumed to be discouraging people. Think about it. If he had gone up there and said, we're not hiring any blacks or Jews, he said his best Richard Nixon impression, the EEOC and the DOJ could go after him, even though they're like, well, how do you know no blacks or Jews applied? Maybe they never wanted to come. You can't make statements like that and then claim that they have no effect. So I get what you're saying. Yes, Jared Foster is saying Elon Musk is an African-American. Yes, he is. Despite how much people want to do it. RBMK says the Dems hate the Afrikaans. Yes, the Afrikaners. Nero is saying, I'm late. You just missed it. No, they are not. If you're an asylum seeker or a refugee, you're still bound to like get a security clearance, but otherwise you are allowed to get into certain programs SpaceX may have. Now, they might have some that are prohibited, but it sounds like in general they are allowed to, and they weren't allowing that. Guys are saying, oh, it'd be based if he said that. Yeah. Oh my God. The Pike case says, wouldn't they need to be able to pass a background check? They would, and if they can't, that's a separate matter that they can't pass a background check. Especially if you're an asylum seeker or a refugee and you're in a situation where the government can't verify your data. Okay, well then you don't get in the programming. That's a separate issue that, okay, then you don't get the job. But until that happens, SpaceX can't tell you you're not applicable. You can't have the job if the government hasn't said no yet. And if the government says no, then there's no issue. So that is what's going to happen with Elon. I think we're going to have to wait and see what happens. I mean, they made the complaint. They claimed it happened. But remember, the government says a lot of stuff happens. And they say it all the time. Now, this one's a little close to home. I didn't cover it because her trial was not televised. But there is a woman in the Cleveland area who, people like to say she committed murder. I mean, when you watch the video, did she really commit murder, or did she just happen to drive like a woman? I'll let you be the judge, because you don't know. Don't really know. But it's a very interesting one. She received a life sentence for killing her boyfriend and another friend in a 100-mile-an-hour crash. And this is her here. Her name's Mackenzie Shirilla. And she is 19. She did this 2 years ago. So she was 17 when it happened, but she was tried as an adult. And yes, she looks like she's 12. So she crashed her car into a brick wall and hit a brick building and killed her boyfriend and his friend. She was then she was convicted of murder. She was tried before a bench trial, so a judge heard her case, found her guilty, so now she was convicted of murder. In Ohio, that means she spends 15 years in prison before she can get the parole board to ask for a release, which means she's actually facing a life sentence of 15 definite years to an indefinite sentence of life. She theoretically could spend her entire life in prison at this point. The parole board may determine not if they want to release her. And if you guys are curious about how parole boards work, there's a guy that's on here on YouTube. His name's Mandu. He airs those hearings, and because the Louisiana parole board actually puts all their crap on YouTube, and you can watch them. And we'll probably cover one of those coming up because they are interesting. Parole boards operate in a very different setting. They have their own authority. They decide on their own whether or not you get released. There's no judge involved. It's usually a panel of people who've been picked and appointed to positions. And they interview you, talk to you, they do a little bit of research, and they make a vote. And it's, 3 to 5 people, and they generally, yay, nay, and that's it, whether or not you get out, or you have to wait a couple years. So it was very interesting when it happened. She claims that she didn't mean to kill him. She claims that she was trying to do, she was claiming it was just an accident. She was, not accident, but she was committing suicide. But this video here, and I've tried to find the security camera footage of it on its own. Sorry, there's going to be some voiceover here, but just listen to it and just watch it. This is absolutely brutal. I mean, here you guys go. Boom. I mean, just watch that. That is just she did not slow down at all. And she just floored it, which sounds like a woman driver to me. I don't know. I don't know why we're putting a woman in prison for driving like a woman, but that is what happened to Mackenzie. She, I guess we can make the jokes about her saying she hit the um oh, I didn't share the tab. You guys, oh God, don't tell me you guys didn't see this. Oh my God. Did I boomer it up? No video. Yeah. All right, here we go. I'm sorry, I boomered that up. Here is Mackenzie's just oof. Here you go.
Say Mackenzie was also trying to kill herself, but she survived the crash.
Boom. Failed suicide attempt. That's her at the top of the screen, just zooming off into the distance.
Say Mackenzie was also trying to kill her.
She's like, I'm gonna be Lightning McQueen. Or it's like, oh my God, I'm late for my nail appointment.
Herself, but she survived the crash.
Hi, Barbie.
Failed suicide attempt.
Yes, Toothless saying hashtag woman moment. Porcelain saying it sounds like she's breaking up or she found somebody else using. Yeah, that could be an issue there. It's muted. No, it wasn't muted. You guys just didn't see it. Yeah, she was boogieing. Yeah, Goalie's right. Do it for Dale. Oh. Sure, Fox is the judge from Harry Potter. No, that judge is actually a very nice judge. Advice for dudes: do not break up with a girl while she's driving. 100%. 100%. Mr. K says, was she trying to kill herself, though? I don't know. Like I said, I think she was just trying to drive. She's probably putting on eyeliner when it happened. I mean, that's normally how you women drive out there. Torgo the White's like, my souffle! That's a shame, says Mackenzie was just PMSing, cut her a break. Yeah, so with her 2 counts of murder. Now that said, she will be, the 2 counts of murder will run concurrent to each other, so she's going to serve them all at the same time. And then in 15 years from now, maybe she gets out when she's 34. So she's got a whole life ahead of her. Ken says, was that a video of me riding Legal Eagles coattails? Oh. If I ever found out on his coattails, I would cut him so I didn't have to get drug along with him. I'll make my own way. Meat Candy says she was 17, technically a minor at the time. I hate when they charge people as adults in situations like this. But they also don't allow 17-year-olds to make adult decisions like buying a firearm. I don't disagree with you there. But the standard for becoming an adult for trying cases is if you're beyond rehabilitation and there's nothing the juvenile court system can do for you. I do agree, though. Yes, you should be allowed to buy a firearm at the age you're considered an adult. Saying Harry Potter happened in Ohio. Carrie says, I have a pussy and I'm an amazing driver. Well, just saying, hey, women have earned the reputation. Jonathan says, how does a guy give a girl roadhead? Yeah. Let's see what's going on over on wait, why is this not Really? I have to read some messages. What the heck is going on over locals? It seems like nobody's posting in an hour. Oh, there you go. Anger's saying, how do I get on a parole board? You got to become friends with your governor, pretty much. Or highly involved in your prison system. The Winter Soldier is saying over on locals in the chat, it's even that Strava, going back to the guy bicycling, is an ultra progressive company. Yes. Yeah, so it's very, very fast. Winter Soldier, yes, they didn't show that, but they had talked about it because I'd heard a lot about this case before it went to trial. She had been caught on security video practicing it and driving that area, yes, but I don't know for sure. Like, I haven't seen the video of it, so. Sheerfuck says pie case. The woman out here parking like Sky King. Yes, she tried to pull a Sky King. Oh my gosh. Chance says practicing hit a wall, Lamau. Hey, remember, you plan your work and then work your plan. So I will give her credit if she planned her work and then she did it according to plan. You get points for, as they say, proper preparation prevents piss poor performance. So remember, proper preparation and planning prevents piss poor performance. It's like the 5 Ps or 6 Ps, something like that. Yes, press F for Sky King, 100%. Amateur Iconoclasses is Mothra in there with me. Yes, there is a moth, and I wish I had one of those like salt guns right now or a cat in here, but the door's closed and there's no cat, so I am on my own. So I just thought that was fun. You see the justice system prosecuting a woman for acting like a woman. Now, this one, I wanted to wait till the end because I'm just going to go on a tear here. And I'm probably going to say a lot of glowy things. A lot of glowy things. First and foremost, I want to say, if anybody from the Marion, Kansas Police Department is watching this, fuck you. You guys are irredeemable pieces of shit. And your boss is a bigger piece of shit. Your boss, he's so low, he's lower than whale shit, and whale shit's at the bottom of the ocean. But you cocksuckers, you guys literally took a shit on the fucking Constitution. Jack Smith wants to scream and cry about assaults on democracy and democratic institutions. What just occurred in small town Kansas over the past week was a true assault on democratic institutions and our foundations as a country. I've seen on Twitter. I've been following along with the story, and some of you have been sending me emails saying, when am I going to cover it? When am I going to cover it? I want to see where this is going to go because, we can just talk about it being bullshit, but wanted to see it. Want to see how it's going to shake out because maybe they were right. Highly doubt it. But the police in Marion, Kansas raided a newspaper, the local newspaper in town. They got a search warrant to go raid the newspaper and take all of their crap, all of their computers, their phones, and then they went to the house of the guy who owns the newspaper, and they raided his home, and they took his crap. And we'll get to what's even worse about that part of it. Then they went to a city council person's house and raided it. I'm not saying the Battle of that. I'm not saying the people in this town should just go out there and do a reenactment of the Battle of Athens, but I'm not saying they shouldn't either. I'm just saying. Like, this is absolute bullshit of the highest authority. And if nobody goes to jail for this, that is a fucking travesty. And if the people decide of that town to self-regulate, who am I to blame them? Chance saying, but if they were to, how should they do it? Well, I think there's a lot of pictures of how they did it in the Battle of Athens. They kind of barricaded around the police department and made makeshift fighting positions in the buildings and flipping cars, doing all kinds of things, including trying to air condition the police jail in Athens, Tennessee. I'm not saying they should do that, but I'm just saying. So where do we start? Where do we start? Where do we start? Well, thankfully, we have some people who can explain this for us. And this is now from the 20th. And this is Eric Meyer. He is the publisher and owner of the Marion County Record. It's the paper out in Marion, Kansas. So we learned that the affidavit signed by a police chief and a magistrate turned out not to have enough probable cause. We'll get to that. So the police chief received approval to conduct August 11th raids on a newspaper office, Eric Meyer's home, and home of a city councilwoman, after small town drama erupted over a restaurant's owner for a liquor license happened. Okay. So, let's skip over the fact that these affidavits we're going to go over for the search warrant happened 4 days afterwards. Just little things like that. Little things like that happened. Little bitty things. Just no issue there. And we're gonna start off by looking at the first warrant, because the warrants all have a similar factual pattern, a factual storyline, but they all contain the same facts. And if this doesn't make you pissed off, I don't know what to tell you. So this is in the 8th, and notice he got permission to the search warrant on the 11th. These were filed on the 14th. What's the deal with that? Because remember, the affidavit doesn't get served on the party doing the party getting searched. That stays on file. But it should have been filed with the search warrant. When you file and you get approved for a warrant, there should be an affidavit with that. This affidavit came in later. So how do we know that this is what... We don't know what the judge looked at. Because this is the application. This is what the magistrate is supposed to read. And I don't know if this is what she saw. Why? Because it wasn't filed on the same day. Could the police have fucked with it then? Yeah, sure, maybe. But now I have to assume they did. Why wasn't it filed the same day? Not buying any bullshit excuse. This is likely fucked with. And even then, you'll see they fucked with it and it's still not probable cause. So, in a search warrant, you have to talk about with particularity, where do you want to go and look? Okay, so 117 South 3rd Street in Marion, Kansas, which is in Marion County. It's a 2-story building that has a red brick facade facing the street to the east. Okay, you're describing it fairly well. There are steps going in a glass doorway on the north side of the front of the building. Above the glass is a sign that says the Marion County Record. That's pretty good. Or the Record. Maybe, I don't know if you feel fancy saying it like that. The Royale. That's, okay, where do you want to search? That part, okay, fine. They want to search a building. Apparently with a newspaper. It's already starting to, like, the judge should have been like, wait, what? You want to do what now? But we'll get to that. So Gideon Cody is the chief of police for this area. And he's of lawful age, and this is where he swears under oath that he believes that there were violations of Kansas law regarding identity theft and unlawful acts concerning computers. So unauthorized access to computers, maybe computer hacking, I don't know. But then you say that, so what crime has been committed, and that certain contraband, fruits, instrumentalities, and evidence of such offenses are located in or upon the above described person, place, thing, or means of conveyance. That's pretty standard for a search warrant. Those items include, sweeping for all electronic media for the purpose of reviewing and retrieving for an evidentiary purpose all data. So they're not just, this isn't a subpoena saying, give us all your information or copy your hard drives and give them to us. No. He's asking to seize all their stuff. He talks about down here, any computer or digital device that is used to access the Kansas Department of Revenue records website. We'll leave this part here because this is interesting, because this becomes a bit of an issue later. Records containing to Carrie Newell. Well, Carrie Newell is a business person in the town, and looks like there was some funny business with her driving records. Looks like she got a DUI back in 2008. Carrie joined the club, I guess. Welcome aboard, sister. They want to do a preview search of all located digital communications and devices to exclude from seizure those of which have not been involved in the identity theft through use of manual or automated preview tools. Now, this is them asking for like a special master, but we'll see that really didn't happen. They didn't do it that way. All digital media, which could be used to store all the things they're looking for. A digital software and application software and operational media. What the fuck is that? Now we're starting to get into kind of some vague things here. They want computer software. If the computers are found in a running state, they may require evidence prior to shutting them off. Okay. I mean, yeah, sometimes you may, if you're trying to seize data, if you shut it off, you may destroy it. They talk about here correspondence or other documents, digital or written. Okay. Items that would show ownership or use of the computers, like who accessed the computers, is what they want to know. Things that show dominion over the property search to include utility bills, telephone bills. Some of the stuff is general run-of-the-mill, and this one is run-of-the-mill. And pictures of the exterior and interior of the premises. That's pretty run-of-the-mill also. But here's the issue here. So Gideon Cody works at the Marion Police Department. He began his law enforcement career in 1999 and worked as a police officer in Kansas City, Missouri. He's not there anymore because it sounds like he was going to get run out for being a scumbag. But we don't really know yet because that's not 100% clear what happened in his career. So anyway, he was an officer there for a long time, yada, 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 yada. They talk about all the qualifications of all the people they were involved in helping him here. Their training and their experience. This part here is kind of boilerplate. This is further more nonsense that the police always put in based on their training and experience. All the issues with computers can be booby-trapped, and that's where all the bad guys hide all their stuff. They hide their pot needles on the computers. This also know the computers can be volatile if they're in a running state. This is all just standard nonsense. You will find this in any time they're looking to seize a computer, whether they think there's kiddie porn or whatever on it. So this is all just nonsense here. This is, if you guys read it, that's all it is. They talk about their training experience again. All just junk. That's all the stuff you'll find anywhere. I've actually approved warrants, and they have some of this stuff here in this gobbledygook. Because, yeah, they get to say, yeah, based on our information, we want to seize this guy's phone or seize his computer because we think something's on it. We want to seize it while it's running. So these are the details. Now, notice they point out that, the affidavit has not included each and every fact known concerning this investigation. Meaning he's not going to give you any exculpatory evidence. Shocker, I know. So here we go. Here we go, guys. Just get ready. Oh, here comes glowy mode. So he attended a meet and greet at Carrie's Kitchen, which is run by Carrie Newell. The Marion County record publisher Eric Meyer and his reporter Phyllis Zorn were present. He was asked by the owner, Carrie Newell, to remove Eric and Phyllis because she did not want them in her establishment. He informed them and they left. Isn't that kind of what we want? Isn't that what we want them to do? Like, hey, leave. Okay, bye. Just like in Frozen. Okay, bye. They did. Later, a couple days later, he received an email from Eric Meyer. He stated that he received a copy. He states he received a copy of someone's private Department of Revenue records. In the email, he alleged possible police misconduct regarding how these records were obtained. So he calls you and says, hey, bro, look, I got some information here I don't think I'm supposed to have, and I'm thinking somebody in your department or somebody did something wrong to get this. You should look into this. You know, I'm not sure how you think he's involved in identity theft here, but yes, I'm sure that's totally how this happened. He read the email because this came in at like 6, almost 7 o'clock. On Friday night. He read the email at 6 o'clock in the morning on Monday. He contacted the city administrator and told him an internal investigation should be conducted. So he was aware of this whole thing because one of the city council members sent the administrators a screenshot of the records belonging to Carrie Newell. And she says she received that email from a different person, a lady named Pan Mag. And they stated that, he stated that this Ruth lady wanted to deny the liquor license and caterer's license based upon the record, and it was on the city council meeting for that afternoon. So it looks like we've got some small-time city politics going on. A little city council bullshit. It's interesting that they can do the liquor license thing at a local level like this. But hey, that's how they do it. So he got the emails from the city councilwoman. He received the emails and he saw they were addressed as Carrie Newell woman. He contacted her and she said she did not know how someone was able to access her mail and gave no one permission to access or open her private mail. Okay, well, so somebody broke in her mailbox? Okay, he reveals it wasn't stolen from a mailbox. It was downloaded directly from the Department of Revenue. Okay. So he says that when you're on there, it advises individuals who downloaded the information. They claim that the individuals who downloaded the information were Phyllis Zorn and Carrie Newell. How does he know that? He doesn't say how he knows that. He just says that her name was listed 3 minutes after Phyllis Zorn downloaded the information, according to the Kansas Department of Revenue. This is important because this isn't exactly how it happened. I mean, I know you're shocked, but I think Chief Cody here may have told a little bit of a fibski. Just a little bit of a fib, a little fibberino. He claims downloading the document, either impersonating the victim or lying about reasons why he was being sought, based upon the options available on the Department of Revenue's website. And here's a list of things. And he looks like he screenshot it, but it's not made clear, which I would argue you need to explain what this is and how you know it. You're requesting your records. You have consent. You're acting on behalf of government agencies. You're requesting this information. Now, this one here, I'm requesting this information in connection with driver safety and theft, motor vehicle emissions, product alterations, recalls, advisories, performance, monitoring vehicles, dealers' motor vehicles, survey research, and removal of non-over records from the original owner and manufacturers. Okay. That's one. That's it. It's weird how they do that in Kansas, but whatever. They go through all the different things you could do here. And they go through a list of them all. And they go through all of them here. He contacted her and said she did not download or authorize anyone to download the information from the Department of Revenue, and someone obviously stole her identity. Are we sure about that? Because, I mean, she said she didn't. That doesn't mean she didn't. She claims that there was he got a written statement from her. Okay. In the statement, she says that received a phone call on August 7th that Eric Meyer admitted to her an employee downloaded the private record information, and that is why there would be no story. Really. I'm pressing X to doubt at this point. She then stated that Eric threatened her, if you pursue anything, I will print the story and continue to use anything I can to come at you. I will own your restaurant. I'm still pressing X to doubt, kids. Still pressing X to doubt. In the Marion Record newspaper, there was an article published written by Meyer. It says, restaurateur accuses paper councilwoman. In the article, Meyer discusses Newell accusing the record of illegally obtaining her information. He states the information was provided by a source who then contacted the record via social media and also sent the information to the council member. Okay. This is where I think if you're really going to get the warrant, and if I was advising him, he came to me and said, hey, man, can I get this warrant? Where's the article? I want to see the article. Don't tell me what the article says. Don't tell the judge what the article says. Get the fucking article. Clip it out. Tape it to a piece of paper. Exhibit A. Bam. Done. Easy. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Then you can 100% proof that he said all this. Because right now I have to take your word for it, and I don't fucking trust you. So, I mean, if I'm the judge looking at this, like, well, where's the article? The third paragraph says, after verifying the information was accurate and had been obtained as a source claim from a public website, the record decided not to publish it. Okay. Here's a big thing, and we're gonna discuss this here. They verified the information was accurate and had been obtained as a source claim from a public website. Which website? They verified it. According to who? Did you contact the Department of Revenue and say this person actually accessed things? Well, remember, we got to get back up to this part here. They claimed downloading the information from the Kansas Department of Revenue. Well, which place in the Kansas Department of Revenue? Because this just says a public website. Okay. While the initial front page of the website is public, as seen above, a selection must be made to show a legal reason obtaining the information according to the Driver's Privacy Act of 1994. Okay. This says personal information obtained by the Kansas Department of Revenue cannot be released unless the requested information falls within one of the exceptions of the Act. Okay, well, we're going to get to why that's not true. Under the confidentiality agreement, it says, proceed past the screen. I declare I have the eligible and express authority to receive this information. I declare any personal information I receive will not be used to offer any property or service. He once again lists the address, and then he says that I believe they've committed this crime, identity theft and unlawful acts concerning computers. He then went ahead and got it signed. And it was signed by Magistrate VR. Okay? Which, it's interesting, though. I have a bit of an issue here. Because if we look at this, it's a bit of a concern. What's the problem here? Well, Gideon Cody's the affiant, and then it was sworn and inscribed by Laura VR, the magistrate. So it's not a notary, but is signed and sworn in his presence. Okay. And that's not an issue there, but who's the magistrate? Does she have training? Does she understand this stuff? Because where's the probable cause here? I mean, it sounds like there's some stuff missing. We'll get to that. In the meantime, and we'll just see where you guys are at from here. The rest of town says going to be careful driving through Kansas with fruits from now on. Yes. Trenton says, which is far from the least intrusive means he's supposed to be doing. Sure. Real Hydro PX says, I.O. when Massa is sick, we is sick. Sir Phil says, yes, use the police catch-all based on my training and experience. You have no idea how true that is. based upon training experience. Everything is, I learned this once 25 years ago. Sometimes they make shit up. So, how pretentious is calling yourself a magistrate? To be fair, a magistrate is an actual position. In Ohio, for example, a judge hires magistrates because a judge can't do everything. If the judge has too much going on, they can hire magistrates. And the magistrate may handle another docket they run. Some judges split it up. You handle like the protection orders, you may handle the evictions, whatever it is. You know, handle arraignments, handle some of these hearings. I'll handle this, I'll handle that. You handle mediations, whatever it is. That's very common. The magistrate also might be an elected position in some states. In some states, I think it's still, I think it's in the South somewhere. You actually don't have to have a Juris Doctorate, a law degree, to be a magistrate. But at the federal level, there are magistrate judges, magistrates who are hired. You're not appointed. The federal judges are appointed, but the magistrates aren't. Like every level, every court has magistrates. You know, the magistratum is the Roman term, and I forget what they hold authority, but they hold authority based upon the power of a judge who hires them. So that is where we are with that. And we got some comments, I guess, to get through here. Winter Soldier says, this is also the newspaper record for the area. As a result of this raid, they missed the next publication and screwed up all the timelines for legal notices. Yeah. They seized everything and the paper got screwed, but also it screwed over people trying to conduct business. Two Scoop says, I would like all of the police department's computer servers, cloud, whatever seized by state or fed investigation. Turnaround would be sweet, fair play. Oh, I think so. I think defunding that police department. I mean, if they got this much time, they're harassing the fucking newspaper. Well, I mean, how many other investigations did they fuck over to do this? Justin Hancock says pot needles, lol. Hey, talk to the police. That pot's a serious problem. It's a scourge on America. 100% it's a real thing. So what did this result in? Well, they also raided the Myers home. And the issue there, and I'm going to switch over to this now, is they raided the home over on Locust Street. And this is where Eric Meyer lives with his mom. And they raided it. And they, once again, all the same dumb shit here. You can read and read and read and read and read. Read and read and read and read and read and read and read. Notice, and this is a big issue, I think, here. You know, August 14, 2023. We have a bit of an issue that's starting to pop up. He didn't just copy and paste the same affidavit. Notice, after verifying the information was accurate been obtained. How did you verify? Who did you talk to? What websites were used? Notice this is all bolded and underlined. And then this one. Doesn't look the same way, Chief. I don't know, Chief. Something seems a little up to me. Am I accusing you of doing illegal things on a search warrant? I mean, yes. 100% I am. And I hope you don't escape man's justice for what it is you may or may not have done that we can't prove. But yeah. So that all happened. But here's what happened when they went to serve the search warrant on the home. And I will say this is some pretty epic shit here. This is an old 98-year-old lady, Joan Meyer. She still owned the newspaper with her son. This old lady goes toe-to-toe with these scumbag fucks. All of them right here. All of them. I don't know who you are. I don't know your names. I don't care if any of you are out there. Oh, that's my uncle. That's what they're pieces of shit. Like I said, when cops do this stuff, they are bigger threats to like our way of life than Al Qaeda or ISIS could ever hope to be. 100%. And hold on one second. Hold on one second, guys. There's a little bit of noise. I gotta close the door. We got a little bit of a storm rolling in. Hold on one second. All right, here we go. Just watch this lady. This woman, my hat's off to her.
Right?
Yes.
Calling Eric Meyer.
Don't you touch any of that stuff.
Ma'am.
This is my house.
Ma'am.
And you asshole.
We'll be out of here pretty quick.
Get them out of here. They're here. You done. Your mother loves you. You love your mother. You're an asshole. Police chief. You're the chief. Oh, God. Yeah.
Fucking old lady's giving it to him. These dickless little fucks. These dickless fucks don't even answer her because they're bitches. You know, bitch-made faggots. It's what this department looks like. You think these guys are going to protect the kids in their school shooting? I doubt it.
Get out. Stand outside. You can stand outside that door and still see them. I don't want you in my house. I don't want you. You do not take them. What?
That's a business cost router has no.
What?
Is there another one downstairs, another computer?
Thank you.
We never went down there and he stayed up here the whole time.
Well, that was, yeah. What's he doing over there going through the papers?
How many computers do you have in the house, ma'am?
I'm not.
Fuck you is the right answer. How many computers do you have? Fuck you. You're the ones getting a warrant. You fucking do your job. Fuck these cocksuckers. Notice none of these guys are like, hey, boss, we're reading a newspaper. Is this right? Nope. I just like police officer. I's done what she tells me. You done get the paper says, serve search warrant. I's done do it, boss. I just simple police folk. I's don't know no better. I just do it. I don't know. I done got my associate degree. Master says you go in that house and take them items. I just done do it. That's pretty much what police do. That's a qualified immunity defense also. It's a John Coffey defense. I tried to take it back, boss. I didn't know we couldn't read no newspapers. I didn't know how to read Constitution. I didn't know First Amendment apply in Kansas. Oh, Lord and me, oh my. I just too busy writing people for expired license plates and having marijuana on them. Hoo-wee, boss. That's pretty much the police department. I guarantee it if you put any of them down for deposition. Toothless, you're 100% right. I'm surprised they didn't fucking shoot her when she tried to come up to him. Or they tackled her. She was being aggressive. She might have had a gun. It was so scary. Eric, you're right. I just do as I'm told. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I just good police folk. But just this old lady, my fucking hats. This is a fucking awesome lady. She probably would have been an awesome grandma.
I'm gonna tell you. Get out of my way.
It's all right.
I want to see what they're doing.
Well, they're working.
I don't care what.
They're working. They're violating the fucking Constitution. I mean, who needs Red Dawn when you got cocksuckers like this running around? I mean, even Red Dawn, they just went to gun stores and took 4473s. These fuckers are reading newspapers. I mean, fuck. You know, and the funny thing is, it's the small town cops that are probably the most fascist at times. Because I'm sure if you tried this at Kansas City, like reading the Kansas City Star, I'm pretty sure whoever's in charge of shit would have been like, wait, you want to do what? Are you fucking retarded? Let me get, like, some lieutenant been like, detective, you want to read the newspaper? Are you fucking stupid? But no here. We newspaper being subversive to the lady trying to get a liquor license. Can't have that in my town.
What
So
they're
you
doing.
can go on through if you
What
want.
are you doing?
I'm not saying she should have pulled out a shotgun and started doing things with it, but if she would have put in some work, my hat would have been off to that woman. I'm just saying. Like G. Gordon Liddy said, sometimes you got to do with feral hogs who have thick hides. Interpret that as you will. Interpret that as you will. But I see some feral hogs with thick hides on this camera.
Those are personal papers.
Yeah, those aren't papers, they're electronic devices, which is what the judge said that we're supposed to take. Okay?
You people.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Oh, fuck you, cocksuckers. And the sad thing is that woman, Joan Meyer, died the next day. Now, I'm sure that's, it's not our fault. You can't tie it to us. Fuck you people. Fuck that police department. Fuck everybody in that room except for Joan Meyer. That woman had the heart. But every other person in that room, fuck you all. Heartfelt. It's true. You have to admire her that she, that woman had it. That woman seems like she was sharp as a tack. Now, oh, yes. Now, getting back to, why is there such an issue here? And I think people need to be in jail, including the chief of police, because once we get to it, this woman has died. The police have been fucked with. And I will say this woman here, Jessica McMaster, this is her right here. She has been running it on Twitter from the beginning and has basically been living out of her car, driving out from Kansas City to this place in Marion. And she has been covering it fucking day one. This woman has been doing God's work on this. But here it is. Here it is. Look at these fuckers. Look at these. Look at these cocksuckers. Look at these cocksuckers in action. Look at this fuck. Hauling out property. Look at that fuck in the back hauling out property. You know, this guy here taking pictures of the crime scene. I got my little things out. I went to CSI school for this. Hoo-wee. I'm taking pictures of a newspaper. They're being subversive and causing a ruckus in town. We can't have that. You know, my job is deputy cooter. And then this guy here, I'm pretty sure it's a chief. You fucking cocksucking bitch. You cocksucking bitch. But anyway, here's the neat part. The Kansas Department of Revenue says that the reporter used a different website than the police reference in the affidavit. Oh, gee, the cops fucking lied on a search warrant? Oh, no. I mean, who could have fucking foreseen that? The cops fucking lied. Wow. The cops lied. Yeah, there's a... Oh, you guys want to know Jessica McMaster is hold on. Yeah, I've been following her since this began. This woman deserves some Twitter likes. She deserves some followings. Why didn't that not come over? This is her right here. Jessica McMaster KC. Guys, give her some followers. She deserves it. She deserves it for breaking this shit open and running with it. And I mean, she did some really good journalism. She got a hold of the affidavit. She went and talked to like a retired judge, and the judge is like, these are fucked. So she did a great job. But let's get back to this. Imagine that he left something out. Oh. So the website that the accused of the reporter accessing is not the website the reporter used, according to the Department of Revenue. You know, he claims in his affidavit she used a website that appears to be the motor vehicle record search. Okay. And he writes in the affidavit, downloading the document, either you had to be impersonating or lying about it. So, you know what the reporter did? She contacted the Kansas Department of Revenue. So they confirmed this woman had a fucking DUI. How? They used the free license status check. And as I pointed out here, this is the issue. He doesn't write in his affidavit how he learned what website she used. And notice I bring that up. He doesn't say what she did to verify that information was accurate and had been obtained. Who did he speak to at the Department of Revenue? What did they say she looked at? I mean, this is weird. Why does the Department of Revenue have all this shit? It shouldn't it be like the Bureau of Motor Vehicles? I don't know. Kansas, you are fucking weird. But motherfucker. I'm not going to lie. Like I said, if all their cars, the police department's cars magically caught fire after this, oh well. I don't care if they caught somebody doing it. I'm on that jury, not guilty. Really? Yes, this is all over some bitch getting a DUI many years ago and not getting her license renewed. This is how fucked up it was. It's all some dumb fucking lady in her town running a restaurant getting a fucking DUI and driving around without a license. That's all. That is all this is about. I mean, this is top tier fucking police thuggery. Police literally fucking lied on an affidavit. Or if he didn't lie, he's so fucking lazy, sloppy, and stupid, he shouldn't be a fucking cop. I don't know. Chief Cody, which one is it? Are you a liar or are you a fucking retard? I don't know which one it is, but it's one of those two. You can pick. Be known to the world as the second coming of Helen Keller or be a complete corrupt piece of shit. Who I'm not saying things are going to happen or should happen, but things tend to happen to people who are complete fucking scumbags. Just saying. Just saying. Chester and Fry, this is about how they got the information. Nobody's denying the DUI. Yes, but the information is about this lady having a DUI. And she didn't like the fact that everybody knew she had a DUI and that she didn't have a license, apparently. And she was just doing whatever the fuck she wanted. And that kicked this all off. Jim says, maybe he's a lying retard. Possibly. Possibly. Oh. But yeah, it's just... You know, and they talked to a former judge and is a professor of law in Kansas City, and he says, yeah, Cody didn't obtain how he got the information. You have to explain how you get the information, how things are known to you. You have to lay out how it goes. You have to lay out the story. Well, how did you know this? How did you learn it? Where did you learn it from? Who told you? How do they know it? Oh, Bob says he saw something. Bob told me about X. Well, how does Bob know it? Did Bob witness it or did somebody else tell Bob? The magistrate has to be able to judge the information presented to him. So thankfully, since then, the attorney and the prosecutor involved in this said, oh, there's no reason, there's no probable cause, everything's getting returned. Cool. In the meantime, though, what do we learn about the police when they returned everything? So they had to return everything. Guess what they didn't do? Or, well, they did do it. They're police again, so it makes sense. The police downloaded copies of their computers, and they kept those copies that they're not entitled to have because there was no probable cause for them to seize the evidence. But they made copies. Of course they did. So they talk about it here. They copied the computers to a hard drive and kept the data, according to the newspaper's attorney. And the inventory list provided by him didn't have that on there. Which is funny because the court released the list of items and it had the hard drive on there. You know, these cops are violating court order by not giving it back. These cops don't give a shit about a court order. They don't give a shit about the Constitution. And even if they return it, guess what? I guarantee you there's probably other copies because these guys can't be fucking trusted. But you know what? What can you do for this? They're going to sue. They're going to go after these people. And it sounds like the state is getting involved. Hopefully somebody pays for this. Probably won't, though. There's never accountability. But what you have to do... Winter Soldiers has got the hand here because Ruble's not working. It should be working. What do you mean it's not working? Other people were using it. I thought. Yeah, somebody's on there. People are on there using it. Shade Chaser says they were operating on good faith. Yeah, well, somebody should have said, hey, boss, this seems fucked up. The fact none of them had the balls to say it is concerning. Or they were all corrupt pieces of shit who thought it was okay. I'm not inspired either way. But this, guys, this is where your local elections are very important. You vote for your city council people. When they make actions, your city government doesn't hire a police chief. Who is this guy? What does he do? Oh, he came from Kansas City. It sounds like he's got a shitbag past. Why are we doing this? What's going on? You have to think about that. And am I running slow? Because wow, that was weird. Whatever. Your local elections matter. You vote for your city council members. You vote for your mayors. All the things you do there. Jim says, how much you want to bet that chief is banging the restaurant lady and that's why she's been driving around no license? Oh, I very think that could be a very likely issue here. Saying close the porn tab. Well, dude, if I do that, your mom doesn't get any views. But here's the deal. Your local election matter. Your local governmental oversight has to happen. And honestly, I don't know why people aren't out there in the fucking streets right now. I understand people got lives to do, but it's like, if those people in that town give a fuck about what their police are doing, you run into those cops anywhere, you fucking laugh at them, you scream at them, fucking fascist. If that guy's in my church, I would stand up and demand he have to leave. I don't want to share a church with a fucking fascist like that. He should be shunned. None of this was acceptable, and he's not going to own up to it, then fine, get out of my town. I mean, I hope somebody goes in front of his house saying, here's where a scumbag fucking fascist lives. Utter piece of shit. I hope he gets hounded like that till he leaves town. I hope all those cops, they just need more training. What, they didn't know that you couldn't do this? I was just the shaky head guy from the Jacob's Ladder film. But there are reasons and ways to fucking handle this, and they should be handled. I hope these fuckers don't escape man's justice. The chief should be in a fucking prison cell for this. I mean, I'd love to see him fucking make a walk, and I wish constitutional violations like this, the real, like, you know, the police murder, beat, and rape people. Yeah, you know what? There'd be a lot if there was a long drop and a short stop. I guarantee a lot of us would stop. Or at least he'd have to think for a second, is this right? Sadly, I don't think it's going to be the case. But I hope it is. I wish Kansas was closer because I go over there and troll the fuck out of this cocksucker. He needs to be hounded and treated like the piece of shit he is. Maybe reporters ask him every day, Chief, why are you such a fucking shitbag? Do you hate the Constitution? Do you beat your wife? Do you watch kiddie porn? Do you fuck dogs? Do you suck horse dick? Do you support communism? All those things should be asked of this man. Because clearly there's a lot going on that he doesn't like talking about. You know, yes, Chaucerian's right. I used to believe people would stand up and do something, then COVID happened, and people let the government experiment on their children. Yes. Eric says, am I a furry? No, I'm not a furry. I would self-terminate. So, no. Oh. Yeah, Sweet Tooth is right. Cops lie. Yes, they do. They do. And then Mandy for $5. Thank you, Mandy. It's saying, responding police officers in my car wreck, also lost my keys. So I'm sorry to hear that. My apartment keys, my toolbox keys, my mail key gone, but they had my truck key. Sorry to hear that, Mandy. Hope you can hope that gets sorted out for you. Sorry to hear. All I can say is, I mean, it's when things get bad, I mean that they get better. I mean, I know it's easy to say, but eventually they do. So they get better. Wow, 2 hours and almost 15 minutes. We are. Yes, D. Tyler says cops only lie on days that end in Y. Yes, yes. Eliza's saying, do you know if the Marion City Council had a public meeting they were supposed to meet on Monday? I don't know. Honestly, I've been busy with trying to get stuff done. I've got like I said, guys, I have a trial starts next week. So I've been busy. So next Thursday might be a little bit shorter of a stream. I'm not sure I'm gonna have a chance to prepare a whole lot. Chance saying for a glow screen, there's sure lack of nitrate posting. Hey, you're out in Kansas in the farmlands, you throw a rock and hit a bag of nitrate. I mean, that's not hard to do at all. Get some of that nitrate, and then, instead of heating oil, you're out on the farms, you get that red pop. That untaxed diesel that's out on the farms. Pour a little red pop in them bags, flip them over a couple times, and, you got something to talk about. Just saying. Yeah, don't use the tax stuff. Get the untaxed. Really make it hurt. Well, Cruz is just at diesel. I'm thinking alike, man. Thinking alike. Harbor Warble says, am I going to be in future conflict tomorrow? Yes. I'll be on at 9 a.m. Yep. I will have to stop at 10 for a couple minutes and then be back on after that. Chance says that's better. Well, hey, I don't need to tell those farmers out there how to handle their nitrates. I mean, most of them are probably running red pop, and by red pop, guys, untaxed diesel, agricultural use diesel, is not taxed, and it's dyed red. Well, if you want to get around the laws on paying taxes for diesel, you drive around with red pop in your vehicle, and the government can test it, and they pull it out, and it's colored red. That's why it's called red pop. If you aren't familiar with agricultural terms, those of you out in the boonies know what I'm talking about. Stephen Cooper says, I have a U-Haul truck perfectly set up for moving fertilizer. Yeah, but you know what? You take a grain bin, just roll it down there. You can put a lot of fertilizer in a grain bin. I'm just saying. So, but anyways, thank you, Stephen. I appreciate it. Nero's saying, so what you're saying is we need to bring back the urine men to collect all the urine in town and create KNO3 crystal farms. Yes. Sean, and she's saying, Sean, what is a commonwealth? A commonwealth is just another name for a state. I mean, there's like the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, Kentucky. I think Kansas is a commonwealth. Then you have places like Rhode Island was called like Rhode Island and Providence Plantations. It's just a name. Just a name. But then there's also like the Commonwealth, which is like the British Commonwealth, where it's, Britain, Australia, New Zealand, then all the countries that broke away from Britain, excluding us. But like, sought independence, Kenya, insert whatever, Zimbabwe. And then you have like the Bahamas, Barbuda, places that kind of broke but didn't break, stuff like that. I'm sure that's what you're asking. Steven's saying we usually just call it died. Yeah, well, where I grew up, we call it red pop. That's Shame says, how do I know so many things? My best friend in the world, John, has told me that before, And we did trivia night in college before. He's like, if the amount of dumb shit and useless shit could be replaced with important shit, I'd be unstoppable. And that's probably true. But, the majority of the folders in my skull are full of dumb shit. So, here's what it is. Maybe one day it'll be important enough. You never know. 15 years ago, learning about a lot of things, or 20 years ago, learning about a lot of things, like, I'll never need to know this. 20 years later, I'm like, oh, I'm kind of glad I learned some of those lessons and experimented as a kid with some of these things, including fertilizer. No, you never know. Federer Lumpkin says there is a way to take the dye out. Yes, there is, but as much as what's the fun in doing that? I mean, the real fun is driving around with untaxed diesel in your vehicle. Anybody, like, yes, it's very easy to remove the dye from diesel. You can Google it. But the true players just run around with untaxed diesel in their vehicles. That's how you know you're a baller. So, you guys are something else here. So, I'm a hobby chemist. You could call it that. You could call it that. Will Cruz says it's funnier to add red dye to road diesel. Yes. Chan says they're not going to check. They aren't probably nowadays, but there were times back in the day they used to check. There's a Fourth Amendment everything, so Fourth Amendment laws are a little stronger. They can't just randomly check, but there are times they've done that in the past. So, all right, guys. Well, that is it for me tonight. I appreciate everybody here. Want to make sure. Want to say thank you to everybody out there. 2 people on Twitch watching. Thank you so much. Everybody out in Rumble, I appreciate it. Everybody on Locals. I mean, I double check. I didn't miss anything on Locals here. God, Locals is running really far behind. It shows it's like an hour behind, whatever. So everybody over on Locals, I see you guys out there. We'll be starting the local show up right now. And everybody here on YouTube, thank you so much for being here. All the likes, subscribes. Guys, if you really do it, please give me a subscribe. I appreciate it. Just need to work on this and then get going on it. What do you guys? Oh, you guys are talking about other stuff now. Okay, I'm going to let you guys talk. But thank you. If you guys are in here posting, I appreciate that so very much. The engagement, it's helpful. I mean, it's nice to know there's people out there actually listening. And then everybody sent a super chat. You guys, I truly mean it. Thank you so very, very much. If you guys are subscribed on Locals, thank you so much. If you guys are members here, thank you. Just any way you contribute, thank you. I truly appreciate any and all of it. And by not flagging me, that truly is support as well, believe it or not. So I will say this until next time, guys. Just because you did it doesn't mean you're guilty. Except for Chief Cody, you're a fucking perjurer, and I hope you go to prison for it. Good night, everybody. I'll see you guys over on Locals in a minute. Bye.